Good morning, Fort McMurray, Wood Buffalo, and the rest of the world. You've tuned in to the Mac City Morning Show. I am your host, Elliot Pierre, and we're going to start the show off the same way we start every episode off, with a moment of gratitude. I know you could be doing a million other things with your time, so the fact that you spend it with us truly does mean the world to me, so thank you. On that note, Tanner, hit him with the intro.
How's she cotton me loves? You're listening to the Mac City Morning Show.
All right, and we're back. All right, we have a very exciting guest. This individual is running for council, so she's going to tell us all about that and everything else she does, which we've been talking for the last 5 minutes, and it's pretty exciting stuff. So as you guys know, I do not introduce my guests. I let them do that themselves. So on that note, can you please tell everybody at home who you are and what you're about?
Yeah, so interestingly enough, as I kind of mentioned, I've watched the episodes, so I have a pretty good idea for the flow, and I had the whole canned response about who I am. And about 15 minutes before I parked, I called my best friend and said, I don't want to deliver this. This feels really inauthentic. It is obviously who I am, but it's so boring.
That's right.
Yes, I've been in the community for a long time. Yes, I raised my son here. And yes, I work at the oil sands. But I think there's so much other stuff that people would describe about me. So I'm going to try and tap into some of those things.
Let's hear it.
What do people need to know?
What's your name?
I am Michelle Landsiedel.
And what are you running for?
I'm running for Ward 1.
There we go.
Municipal Council.
So now people know. Now let's find out more about you as an individual, because that's my favorite part of the show. Finding out about individuals.
Don't feel bad. Me and Ellie don't prep for any episode, so the fact that you haven't prepped, you'll fit right in.
You'll fit right in.
I tried really hard to prep, but then it just felt really canned. So, things that you need to know about me.
Yeah.
I can generally be found if I'm not working, which is rare.
Yeah.
If I'm not working, you'll generally find me anywhere that there is a sporting event. So as long as it's in season, if it's NFL, the CFL, the NHL, you'll typically find me with a pint in hand at the back bar or the front bar of my favorite local.
What's your favorite
with my 3 best friends. So it's been back and forth a little bit. We're pretty well known at the brew house. We've been hanging out there for a really long time.
Okay.
More recently, we've started really kind of hanging out at Shortchange and just getting to know that smaller venue and just really enjoying it as well. So
do you live? Don't tell me where you live. I was just going to ask if you lived
on that side of town.
Yes. Okay.
It's handy.
I haven't been to Shortchange since they changed it from Jaguar Lounge yet. Is it nice?
No, Pat and Marie are doing a really, really great job with that space. So we're really enjoying it. We had some live music there last week. Maddie Parley was playing. It was a good time.
I'm going to have to check it out. I grew up in Dickinsfield.
Yeah?
And so I love Dickinsfield. And I spent a lot of time in Jaguars Lounge as a youth, legal youth.
Back then, yeah.
I think the new name is pretty cool, though, Shortchange. That just makes sense for
you'll have to get him to tell you the story behind it. Definitely not my story to tell, but it's a good little venue. So that's kind of the nitty-gritty of my non-working life.
Okay.
I would say my 3 best friends and I travel a lot.
Okay.
One of those best friends happens to be my husband.
Okay.
So
that's sweet.
Oh yeah, we're very romantic.
Yeah.
Said no one ever.
Yeah.
We travel a lot, or at least we did prior to what everybody else is experiencing. But generally we travel because of sporting events. So we will travel to be at a game somewhere, or we will travel to see our teams play.
Very cool.
Yeah, so that's a big part of our lives. I own 4 senior dogs. So my youngest is 11 and my oldest is 16. And
what are their names?
Rico, Mars, Cadbury, and Soleil.
I love them all.
Yeah.
Yes, I also love them all. They're pretty much the joy of my life at this point.
Okay.
My son is 19, so he lives his own life now. He's got
a
beautiful girlfriend. They've been together for 3 years. She's actually running my social media, just super dynamic. Pretty connected. I've been here a long time. So unfortunately, a lot of my closest friends have left the community, but a lot of them are still here. So I'm out and about quite a bit. That's kind of who I am.
Okay, well, I ask all the candidates this because I think you're all lunatics for doing it. Yeah. Why are you running? What brought you to this point?
I also think we're all lunatics, just to be clear. So I don't think that there's a right time to get involved in politics. And, you hear people say just now is the right time, or I feel like it's a really big commitment.
It is.
And it has to be something that you feel compelled to do. I have sort of been thinking about it for probably the last 10 years, not necessarily running, but supporting somebody who is running. And the last couple of years have just been so tough on the community, so tough on the counselors, so tough on administration. And I just feel like we've really we've stalled a lot of great ideas. We've stalled a lot of things that should be moving forward. And I completely appreciate that there has been so much handed at the current seated council that it's tough to be able to move those things forward. So zero criticism here on most fronts. But a couple of people that announced early on that they weren't going to run, I felt would leave a pretty significant gap in representation and just the kind of objectivity that I think we need at the council table. And there's never been a better time in my life in terms of just the things that I have on my plate. My routines are pretty simple nowadays. My son, as I discussed, he's got his own life. He doesn't need me these days.
Yes, he does.
You always
Thank you.
I can confirm. I am 22 years old. I still need my mother, and I always will.
I hope that's true. Parker, are you listening?
Yeah.
So, you know, I've had a lot of encouragement, I think, from my closest friends. My husband really got on board early on and said, you know, I think this is probably something that you should do.
There we go.
And here we are.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. Those are all great reasons to do it. Now, you were saying when we were trying to book this that you're being deployed, and I'm just like, I don't understand what that means. So what does being deployed mean?
So one of the things that I do in all of my free time is I'm an emergency response supervisor for the Red Cross.
Okay.
So I led the field operations team during the 2020 flood. Got to know some really amazing people down in the lower town sites. I was on that response for like 6 weeks.
Okay.
It was probably the hardest, most draining, most like emotionally torturous thing I've ever done in my life. You just never know, right? You just never know if the experience that you're giving somebody in that moment is helping them, is making their day less terrible. And so that's a pretty heavy burden to bear. But I have a niche for emergency response, and for I think in the today I had mentioned, you know, crisis leadership and leadership in crisis. And so recently my team reached out. The Red Cross has been on response in Manitoba for a period of time, and they need some relief in the fire response that they're providing. And so I'll be deployed out there as an operations manager for 10 days, which is super tricky timing because the campaign goes live basically on the 20th and I leave on the 23rd. So, but it is what it is. And I think, you know,
that's awesome.
This community understands better than probably most why I feel compelled to answer that call.
That's right. When it comes to crisis management, I think that could be a huge benefit for you running for council or getting on council. Different mindset of how to deal with problems that may arise. How did you get that skill set?
I don't know. Maybe just
being
life
a mother
experiences, being the mother to a very dynamic child. But just generally a lot of it. So I would say probably a lot of it comes from my career. Like I do work in a very dynamic, very responsive industry. I work on site and I work in an upgrader, which is a very ever-changing environment that requires you to have the capacity to just step up and step into it and just be in that space regardless of what's happening around you. And I think for me, it definitely became apparent that I had a skill set there, a real skill set there during the fire. During the fire, I supported on the leadership team on nights for my company for the entire duration and went through that whole process with them. And just really felt comfortable in the capacity to compartmentalize my own needs versus what everybody else needed. So I will say I genuinely hope that this seated council, whoever gets in, whoever holds those next 10 and 11th seat, I genuinely hope that they have a 4-year term without crisis. I think this community really needs it. But you know, in the event that they don't, I'm here, I'm around. And if I'm supported enough to get a seat, that's definitely something I would bring to the table.
There we go. So your site life, what brought you to the career that you chose? Are you from Fort McMurray, or did you?
No, I was born and raised in Medicine Hat, Alberta. So
Okay.
I am an Alberta kid.
There we go.
There's like 10 of us here, I think.
Yeah.
And I came up when I was 20.
Okay.
So I've been here for almost as long now. I'm 36 now. So I've been here in this community almost as long as I was in my original community.
Nice.
It's definitely home.
Yeah.
But I originally came up, so I went to school for criminal justice.
Okay.
And in that line of study was the concept of due diligence, which led me to a career. I had this phenomenal opportunity with a smaller general contractor in Medicine Hat in residential and commercial construction.
Okay.
To step into a health and safety role.
Yeah.
That health and safety role gave me a seat on the regional Alberta Safety Committee. Mm-hmm. That regional Alberta Safety Committee gave me contacts in the north. That gave me an offer to come up on a 3-week contract to do an audit out at CNRL.
Yeah.
That turned into a job. That turned into an offer to move into maintenance, which turned into an offer to move into operations, and gave me the career that I have today. So
Very cool.
the short summary of it all. Yeah.
You're very good at giving short summaries. That's amazing. That's really neat. That's like a really interesting path of how you got here.
Yeah, it's definitely been a journey. I can say I've had the great fortune of having a lot of really incredible people around me just be willing to invest in me and give me opportunities to do things that I am definitely not qualified to do, and to fail fast and to fail often and to keep going. So
I think that's the most important thing, is to fail often. Because if you're failing often, you're putting yourself out there, and you can learn from those mistakes. God knows.
I must be the best at everything.
That's
'cause I
right.
fail all the time.
Well,
just imagine the growth in that space.
that's
though,
it.
right?
That's where you grow. That's where you accomplish new things, and you get outside your comfort zone. But that's how you develop new skill sets and how cool new things happen.
Yeah.
If you just play it safe all the time, well,
Yeah,
not really gonna grow.
In all of this career process, I got the phenomenal opportunity to take an educational sabbatical.
Okay.
So in 2017, I went back to school for a year full time, moved back to Medicine Hat, lived with my parents.
Lovely.
Best experience of my life.
Yeah.
Just to be clear, like
Oh.
the opportunity to be mothered by my mother was
Yeah, we all love our moms.
amazing.
Yeah.
But that experience, like I chased my Bachelor of Arts. I pursued primarily philosophy, which I think was probably the best thing I've ever done, because it definitely taught me that it's okay to not be married to an idea, and that critical thinking and the ability to apply logic and the principles of logic to concepts is really important.
Yeah.
But it also gave me a chance to move to Africa.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So in the end of my term, I still had this like space of time before I could come back to work, before my employer's long-term leave of absence was up from a contract perspective. But I didn't need the additional semester. I was able to finish everything that I needed to finish in the first two.
Right.
So I had this like time, and I had a friend of mine, Ken Chapman, connect me to a company or an organization out of Ottawa who was looking for people to do organizational development and capacity building in Tanzania. So I got to go over there. I worked with a university, a fledgling university, to help them build out like their strategic plan. Was able to set up a relationship between their, they don't have unions, but like their organization, teachers organization, and an organization in Saskatchewan to do like teacher exchanges.
Yeah.
Just super rewarding experience, super terrifying.
No doubt.
I went completely on my own. Had to learn the language super fast. Don't ask me to speak it today, but I can say thank you, please, and order a beer.
Yeah.
And had to figure out that whole experience before I came back to work. So
Very cool. Well, Tanner's hitting his phone a second ago, so that means it's time for the Mac City Minute.
okay.
Best of luck. Tanner's going to hit you
Rapid
with some
fire.
questions. Tanner, hit her with the Mac City Minute.
Alrighty, question number 1. Having seen most of the Mac City morning episodes, what has been your favorite?
Ooh.
That's a head scratcher.
Okay. Way to put me on the spot, first of all.
That's what
he
I
does.
do.
Second of all, I would say you guys did an episode on. Oh, I'm gonna make this so easy.
Yeah.
You guys did an episode in Winnipeg recently.
Yeah.
With a very dynamic young lady who had, first of all, an excellent method of describing what it is that she does that is not welding.
Yeah, that's right.
But also has some like very interesting life experiences.
Yeah.
So I would say the most recent one, and obviously I've been buried in other candidates forums, but I would say that's probably my favorite to date, notwithstanding the ones that we talked about originally, which I am not going to mention.
Yeah, there we go.
Question number 2. What is your favorite part of traveling on your bike?
Oh, just straight freedom. It's just a completely disconnected, completely isolated, and yet completely connected experience.
Question number 3. What is one thing you think you could bring to council that is unique to you?
I mean, I would say I'm one of the most objective people that I know. And I think that that's a skill that a lot of people strive for and want to have, but maybe a lot of people don't necessarily have the experience in it and haven't been as wrong as aggressively as I have been in my life to have to learn that lesson and how to apply it. So I would say that's definitely one of them.
Question number 4. What is one thing about being a mom that will help you in council?
Patience.
I love it.
I have a lot of patience for different opinions.
And your final question, having such a love for coffee, where do you think serves the best cup in town?
Oh no, the people are going to judge me for this because I have to give you the real answer.
Yep.
I'm a Circle K girl.
Oh.
I love coffee from Circle K.
Okay.
And I think it's because I basically grew up, like my adult life has been on site. And up until a couple of years ago, our coffee brand was Mother Parker's, which is, you know, not the average coffee connoisseur's choice. And I just developed a taste for it. And that's my coffee choice.
There you go.
And those have been your 5 questions.
There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong. Like I did.
You're not the only one for sure.
That's right. I did a video series about burgers when I was in Vegas a year or 2 ago when we could travel, and I got roasted because I ate some really nice burgers, fast food burgers, but like the cheeseburgers, McDonald's cheeseburgers in America are like on another level, and I got roasted because people were like, that's not the best burger. Oh my God, your palate, this, that, and the other. I'm like, hey, listen, it's what I like.
Yeah, no, I get the same thing with, you don't really like beer because I'm a domestic beer drinker. Like, that's my beer by choice.
Right.
And I don't typically chase the microbrews.
That's right.
Particularly hard. But, like, you know what? You like what you like.
You like what you
right?
like. You like what you like.
Yeah.
Okay, this has been great. I could talk to you for hours. I want to go down a rabbit hole with this whole Africa trip, but the shows are only 20 minutes long. So please, please, please come back again.
Okay.
But before everybody leaves, they get a shameless shout out or plug. So the camera's on you. The mic's yours. Let's see what you got to say.
My general message or my shameless plug to Fort McMurray is kind of twofold. So the first one is municipal council is one of the places in the space of politics that you genuinely can make a difference with your vote. And you can make a difference in your own life and the life of the people that are closest to you. So I really hope that the fact that there are 18 candidates today, likely more by Monday, indicates that there is a genuine buzz for municipal politics and a genuine buzz for people to step up and get involved and have their voices heard. But if you're somebody who maybe wasn't even thinking about it or doesn't really know what the next steps are, find out. Like, research your candidates. Every single one of us has stepped up because this community really means something to us, and we genuinely want to be a part of taking it forward and moving it into the next space of what it can be. So my shameless plug is I believe that might be me. I believe that I definitely have the opportunity to contribute to who we can be, and I would really love your vote, but if it's not me, make it somebody.
There we go. Now that was a good plug. Okay, well, thank you so much for coming. That was awesome, and I can't wait to have you come back again. So, and good luck on your deployment.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Well, Fort McMurray, Wood Buffalo, and the rest of the world, that's been another episode of the Mac City Morning Show. Thank you so much for tuning in. It does really mean the world to me. I hope you're having a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Peace.